The following story is based on real events. Names have been changed to protect the identities of those involved, especially the surviving children. July 2nd, 2024, Miami-Dade County. Detectives from the Miami-Dade Police Department rushed to a local hospital following a call that no officer ever wants to receive. A 9-month-old baby boy has been pronounced dead. The circumstances surrounding his death are about to reveal one of the most disturbing cases of child neglect the department has seen in years. The baby's name was Lucas, 9 months old, barely old enough to crawl, not old enough to walk, not old enough to talk, not old enough to protect himself. And on that July morning, Lucas was found unresponsive in an apartment in the 8000 block of Southwest 147th Avenue. When detectives arrived at the apartment where Lucas lived with his mother, 26-year-old Maria Santos, and his older sibling, they were immediately struck by what they saw. The apartment was in complete disarray, dirty, messy beyond what anyone would consider normal living conditions. Clothes scattered everywhere, food debris on the floors, garbage strewn across multiple rooms, used hygiene products lying in plain sight. But what happened next made the officers' blood run cold. As they were documenting the scene, they had to physically stop Lucas' older brother from drinking from a bottle of baby oil he'd picked up off the floor. A toddler in an apartment so neglected, so dangerous, that he was trying to consume something that could poison him. And the officers realized this wasn't an isolated incident. This was how these children lived every single day. Maria told detectives she had fallen asleep while rocking Lucas. When she woke up, she found him purple, unresponsive, and stiff. But that story would change multiple times. Over the course of the investigation, she would tell different versions to investigators, to family members, to anyone who asked. First, she said he fell and hit his head. Then she claimed he drowned. Then she said he choked on something. The autopsy would reveal the truth, and it was worse than anyone imagined. Stop right here. If you saw a neighbor's apartment in this condition, with small children living there, would you call authorities? Drop it if you'd report it immediately. Drop it if you'd try to help the family first. Comment unsure if you don't know what you'd do. I need to know because this is how we protect children. This is how we save lives. The medical examiner found eggshells in Lucas's stomach. Feathers. A 9-month-old baby had been eating eggshells and feathers because there was no one watching him, no one feeding him properly, no one protecting him from the filth he was crawling through every day. Maria later admitted to detectives that Lucas had a habit of putting strange objects in his mouth. She knew this. She knew her baby was eating things he shouldn't, and she did nothing to stop it. But the eggshells and feathers weren't what killed him. The toxicology report revealed cocaine and methamphetamine in Lucas's tiny body. A 9-month-old baby. Cocaine and methamphetamine. The cause of death was ruled as drug overdose. The manner of death was ruled as homicide by child neglect. How does a 9-month-old baby access cocaine and methamphetamine? The answer is as horrifying as you'd expect. Maria admitted to police that she had been using drugs that weekend. The same weekend Lucas died. And she wasn't using alone. She was throwing a party in her apartment. While her 9-month-old baby and his sibling were in that same apartment, Maria was hosting a party where drugs were being used. Cocaine, methamphetamine, easily accessible, within reach of a crawling infant. Lucas's father lives in another state. He told investigators he'd seen Maria use methamphetamine in the apartment before. He knew about her drug use. He knew about the conditions his children were living in, and the question that haunts this case is the same question that haunts so many cases like it. Why didn't anyone intervene sooner? Maria was arrested on Monday and charged with second-degree murder and aggravated child abuse. When read her Miranda rights, she confessed to using drugs the weekend of her son's death. She's currently being held at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center without bond. She has pleaded not guilty to all charges. But Lucas is still dead. A 9-month-old baby who never had a chance, who spent his entire short life in an apartment filled with garbage, drugs, and danger, who died because the person responsible for protecting him chose drugs and parties instead. Here's what you need to know. Child neglect doesn't always look like what you think it does. It's not always bruises or broken bones. Sometimes it's an apartment that smells wrong. Sometimes it's children who are always dirty. Sometimes it's a parent who seems constantly intoxicated or high. Sometimes it's kids eating things they shouldn't because no one is feeding them properly. If you see something, say something. Call your local child protective services. Call the police. Make an anonymous report if you're scared of retaliation. You might save a life. You might save a Lucas. For parents struggling with addiction, there is help available. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration has a national helpline at 1-800-662-4357. It's free. It's confidential. It's available 24 hours a day. Your children deserve better. You deserve better. Get help before it's too late. For neighbors, teachers, family members, anyone who interacts with children, learn the signs of neglect. Consistent hunger, poor hygiene, unsupervised access to dangerous substances, lack of appropriate supervision for the child's age, homes filled with garbage, human or animal waste, or drug paraphernalia. These are red flags. These are reasons to call for help. Lucas's surviving sibling is now in protective custody. That child will grow up without a brother, will grow up with memories of an apartment where eating baby oil seemed normal, will grow up knowing that the person who was supposed to protect them both failed in the worst possible way. This case is a reminder that child neglect is not a victimless crime. It doesn't just hurt children emotionally, it kills them. Lucas was 9 months old. He had barely started his life, and it was stolen from him by negligence, by drugs, by a parent who chose her own high over her child's life. If this story affected you, subscribe to True Horrorfiles 24 Rage. We cover cases that need to be told, stories that need to be heard, lessons that could save lives. Drop a comment if you know someone who needs to hear this message. Share this video with anyone who works with children or has children in their lives. Awareness saves lives. And if you're struggling, if you're a parent dealing with addiction, please get help today, before it's too late. Before another Lucas becomes a statistic, your children are counting on you. Don't let them down.